Chris and Andrea Molyneux. Andrea makes the wines. Chris is more sort of vineyards and marketing. Andrea is South African. Andrea is American. Chris is South African. And again, a winery that's very young. Their first release was 1998. Before that, you may have tasted the wines they made at a winery called Tulbagh Mountain Vineyards, TMV, which is in the Tulbagh area. Tulbagh Mountain Vineyards has now been rechristened as Fable, and now has another young couple making the wines there. Chris and Andrew made the wines there, and I think the wines were better when they were there. When they left to set up Molyneux, they took some of the contracts with them, so they knew where the best grapes were planted and grown, not just in Tulbagh, but particularly in the Swartland, which is next door. Tulbagh Mountain Vineyards is an amazing site, just while I'm on the subject. I don't know if any of you have been there, but they have this problem. It's one of the few wineries in the world, I suspect, that has a baboon problem. So the baboons were eating the grapes, and baboons, unlike wild boars, aren't stupid. So basically they put up this electrified fence around the property, and the baboons are very smart. So what they do is they would actually get a piece of wood, drop the piece of wood on top of the electric fence, and then pulver over the electric fence into the vineyard and eat the grapes. So they thought, right, okay. So then they tried lion dung from Cape Town Zoo around the perimeter, strategically spaced at the property where the baboons were coming in, thinking the smell of lion dung would frighten them away, but it didn't. So then they thought, right, bastards. So they started shooting them on the principle that pour encourager les autres, as they say in France. In other words, shoot one of them and the rest of them go away. And it did stop them coming in. But I went there just after they started doing this, and this is in the days when Chris and Andrew were there, and the baboons were sitting on the hill above the vineyard throwing rocks at us. So basically, someone had taken one of theirs out, and so they were lobbing rocks into the vineyard. Anyway, that's TMV, not Molyneux. Molyneux specialise in Rhone varieties, and they're part of this whole Swartland Association, the Swartland Revolution, as it's called. And the Swartland Revolution is really based on four main properties. And remember I said that this is a very old area. It's an old area that's been redeveloped. My wife was telling me when she was growing up, the Swartland was the home of South African Weetabix, which is called wheat something else. What's it called? Weet-Bix. Oh, that's clever, isn't it? Right, okay. So the Weet-Bix. And it looks like parts of America. You know, it's all about grain, really. You feel as if you could be in Wyoming or something like that. It's fringed by these incredible mountains. It's a big sky. It's a big place. It's hot as well, very hot. And it's weirdly that the rediscovery happened not because of a warm climate variety, but because of Chenin Blanc and Charles Blanc, who many of you will know, so I speak like water. From Fairview Winery. And Charles has a brand called Ghost to Rome, and Charles was looking for something to put into Ghost to Rome in the mid to late 80s, and he went to the Swartland Cooperative, which is a very good co-op, and he tasted this incredible Sauvignon Blanc, and he said, "Where's this from?" And they told him the name of the vineyard, and he went and bought the vineyard that afternoon, and that's what created Spice Route. And Spice Route really was the first winery to reinvest in the Swartland, and the smartest thing he did was to employ a young chap called Ibn Sadi as his winemaker. And many of you will know Ibn from Sadi Family Vineyards. Ibn is a remarkable maverick and one of, again, South Africa's great winemakers, and an inspiration to many of these younger winemakers. Most of these people, Ibn is now probably 40 or so, and a lot of people look up to Ibn as being the guy really who went back to the vineyards, who rediscovered a lot of these old vineyards, and who broke new ground really in the Swartland. So the Swartland Revolution is Adi Badenhorst, principally. It's the Molyneux, it's Ibn, it's a character called Callie Lowe. Callie Lowe is now, he was again at the TMV after Chris and Andrea, and is now running a vineyard called Porcelainberg. Porcelainberg is owned by Hugenhits Group, who are based in Franschhoek. And again, if you get a chance to go to the Swartland, this potentially is one of the great vineyards of the world, not just the New World. It's on slopes that look like that, unbelievably stony, poor soils. And they've so far released only one wine, the 2010 Syrah for Porcelainberg. It's a stunner, folks. This is a Molyneux wine. Molyneux make a straw wine, they make a white blend, they make 3 syrups. They make their own, just a Molyneux syrup, which is a blend of different vineyards, which costs about 20 quid, and they make 2 single vineyard releases, and this is one of them. So Granite, and the other is called Schist. And guess what? The vineyards are on granite and schist. And of the two, schist is the very perfumed one. They talk about it being floral. If I were French, I would say it was feminine, but I'm not going to do that. Whereas granite is more muscular, it's more concentrated, it takes more time to come round. Think of them, if you like, as being sort of cote roti as opposed to cornets or something like that. So one is, I mean, obviously no Viognier in it, but one kind of perfumed and quite delicate, the Syrah. The other much more muscular and close and concentrated. This is the first release of this wine. Both of these single vineyard wines came out this year, the 2010 vintage. And this sells for about 55 quid through Hanford Wines. And let's just try this. I love that wine. I think it's just amazing. I think that it's everything I want Syrah to be. And it's Syrah from a warm climate. It doesn't taste like a warm climate to me. It's only 13.5% alcohol. And the whole key to the Swartland is managing the heat, is managing the dryness, right? And I think that the only limiting factor on quality in the Swartland is having access to water and freshness in the wines. And I think the Molyneux have just got this incredible touch, particularly with Syrah. I think their Syrahs are truly brilliant. I hope you like that wine as much as I do. I couldn't really do a South African tasting without putting on a Pinotage. And as you'll know, Pinotage is a controversial grape. Some people like wonderful Andre van Rensburg at Veverik has gone on record as saying some unbelievably rude things about Pinotage, that it's planted by. He said that people who grow it should be sent to prison like rapists and child molesters or something like that, which is a little bit serious, isn't it? But Pinotage, controversial grape. It was invented in the Cape by Professor Perroll, obviously, in the early 20th century. And Professor Perroll had a wine named after him. It was produced by the KWV. And it's a cross, as many of you will know, of two great varieties, Pinot Noir and Cinsault. And I think when it's good, the Pinot Noir bit sticks out. When it's bad, the Cinsault bit sticks out. And Cinsault can be a really good grape variety, but it needs to be old vines, it needs to be low yielding, it needs to be just the right site. Pinot Noir in South Africa is more difficult to grow, and it's, I would say, only in the last 5 vintages that South Africa's really started to get a handle on Pinot Noir, particularly in those two cool climate areas I talked about. So Elgin first of all, and then the 3 Henlonada bits really. I think those are the great Pinot Noirs. This is a Pinotage. It's from quite a historic winery, which is Kononkop. Many of you will know Kononkop. It's a famous winery. They're still using lagars to treat their grapes. It's a fantastic Cape jewel, it really is. And it's an example of the best of the old school, if you like. It's a fantastic winery that has evolved with time. Again, brilliant winemaker, brilliant CEO, and I think they've managed to hang on to the best of tradition whilst evolving at the same time. They specialise in reds. These again from Stellenbosch, from the Siemensberg, and they do a cake blend which is called Sour, many of you will know, and this is their top wine. And I think it says a lot for them that their top wine, they've decided to make their top wine a Pinotage. This is the black label Pinotage, which is one of the 3 or 4 most expensive wines in South Africa. There are a few of them. There's one that Tatoran make, which comes in its own little box with a lock and key called Book. Is it 17 or 18? I don't remember anyway. There's that. There's the Lawrence Graf Reserve. There's this, and there's another wine that begins with a B that I've forgotten because I didn't enjoy it very much. Anyway, this is pure Pinotage. The difficult thing with Pinotage, as I said, is managing the good bits and slightly suppressing the bad bits. And the bad bits are those bits that smell of acetone, of nail polish remover. And it's sometimes something to do, I think, with fermentation temperatures. If you get the fermentation temperatures right, and there are 2 winemakers from South Africa in the room who would know more about this than I would, but I think if you get the fermentation temperatures right, you privilege, as it were, the Pinot side of it, and you don't privilege the Cinsault side of it, which is the hotter climate bit. I think they've got the blend just right here. This is, remarkably, this is now their 08. I've marked the 06 of this wine even higher in my report, in that these are wines that age extremely well. So a winery that's always been known for producing Pinotage, even when Beyers Truter was there before he went to set up Beyers Kloof on his own. And just a fantastic example of this weird South African USP. I don't expect you to love Pinotage. I have mixed feelings about it, and some of my best friends are Pinotage, obviously. But I think that Pinotage, when it's good, is wonderful. When it's bad, it's pretty disgusting, frankly. But that's true of most Cracker varieties, let's face it. Again, let's try this. I don't think that could be made from anything else, actually. It's all of the best things about Pinotage. It is floral, it's got that kind of licorice notes and some lovely black fruits. I think the oak integration is very subtly done. It's got aging potential, believe me, that 6 is an incredible wine. And it's got freshness and length and vibrancy and acidity. I've been asked to speak for 45 minutes, so we could easily have done 20 wines. I'd like to have done 20 wines with you, because South Africa really is that exciting. It's a privilege for me to witness what's going on in South Africa. I think, as I said earlier, the combination of young winemakers, old vines, more expanded thinking, a great experience of the world, talent, and just sheer excitement what makes me go back to South Africa again and again and again. And I hope I've shared something of my enthusiasm for the wines and some of my knowledge with you. These are 6 of my favourite wines. There are 353 wines in my report, which is, as I said, published in Tweet. I'm not expected to make a fortune out of it, but it's a labour of love, really. But my classification is published tomorrow, and I shall be in a bunker sometime about 10 o'clock tomorrow when it comes out, because some people in South Africa won't be very happy with the classification. But some will. That's life, isn't it? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the tasting. Those of you who are at the back, if you want to have a slurp of the wines, you're welcome to come and try my glasses up here. I don't have any communicable diseases, so they're yours to try. The rest of you, thank you very much for coming, and I hope you enjoyed the rest of the show.